Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Pierre Pelé, otherwise known as Pamboy on social media. We are on Place Vendôme. We are ready to go and meet Daniel Roseberry of Schiaparelli to discover his ready-to-wear for Spring-Summer 2022 collection. Hey, Daniel.
Ciao. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us. Can't wait to see the collection.
So yeah, we can start through here in the mirrored salon. This is really about the accessories first and foremost. I think what we've found is that anytime we've been able to sort of replicate the anatomical parts of the body and show them back to people in the bijou and in the bags, even in small leather goods, I think there's such a visceral reaction. So this was really the beginning chapters, I think, of a fully fleshed out accessories collection.
I feel like accessories have taken such an important role in your work at Schiaparelli.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about, the way people react to them?
Yeah. When I first started, I was looking for a way to express the surrealism of the house that wasn't feeling vintage or sort of passé or kitschy or campy. When we started casting the body and then molding the body parts, everything just sort of went from there, actually. It looks like Schiaparelli, you know it from a mile away, and it's ours. So that's really hard to do these days, and I feel like we really found that, luckily. These salons that are showing this new collection for the past 6 weeks have been selling the fall season, which is in stores now, or in this salon now, and it's been selling so well.
Yeah.
And that's what's been so exciting. I mean, even with a piece like this, like a classic navy blazer, with the nipple brooches and the measuring tape and the bijou buttons, it's all of the codes kind of happening at once. But that's what I love about what's happening here, is that we are becoming this sort of alternative resource for people who want a different kind of luxury.
Right. And there's portraits of Elsa in this room. How do you feel about that? Do you often think about what Elsa would say and how she would feel about your work?
A lot of people have asked me that, and I feel like I've kept a distance to be able to really be myself, and I feel like I have her blessing to do that. That's how I think she would have wanted it to be approached.
I would love to talk about this particular dress, inspired by the 1938 collection. It drove me nuts when I saw it. I was like, that's great. Do you want to talk a bit about the inspirations from Schiaparelli that you injected in the work this season?
For me, there's always one or two pieces that kind of comes forward as something that wants to be addressed or discussed. And I have to say the bone dress was such an invitation for us here to explore the body parts. And it's also a little complicated to take something that's so iconic and almost like art and do something commercial about it. So we do that with a lot of respect.
And there's a lot of lines, stripes this season.
Yeah.
You try to explore many different things. Where are the stripes coming from?
The stripes came from wanting to kind of step away from doing too many prints or patterns. And then we started talking about the dichotomy of Elsa's personality. So that she was at once an artist and a collector herself. She was vulgar and chic at the same time. She was an introverted and an extroverted person. And these are all things that I really respond to, and I think all of us do today. But I love that the brand is really about this idea of contradiction. So this whole room, the black and white stripes, we say black, bone white, and gold are like the colors. So it's really this bone white, this Giacometti white. It's like a plaster white.
But let's talk a bit about these two looks.
Yeah.
Colors fully embroidered with sequins and what are those glass beads?
Yeah. This actually is one of my favorite pieces in the collection. This gold plastron here. It's molded from our model here in Paris, and it's been industrialized in Italy so that it can be produced for the ready-to-wear. But my favorite thing about it is that you can see the goosebumps on the skin where the cold plaster went on. And to me, the gold is what grounds the collection. Whether it's in the multicolor design or in the solid black, the gold is what makes it Schiaparelli.
Where does Elsa stop and where does Daniel start?
I think it's just a lot of intuition. I think if you try and overthink or overanalyze the dynamic, where's Elsa, where's me? To me, it's really, there's an intuitive connection that I have with the house. So for me, I kind of think of myself in collaboration with her as opposed to wanting to be in collaboration with some random artist from LA, you know what I mean? And I think that that's more exciting.
This is incredible.
Yeah, this one I love too. We kept saying, if you're hosting the party, what are you wearing?
Right.
And I think that's where we wanted to have some looks here that weren't the looks that you go to the party in, it's the look that you wear if you host the party. We tried to keep it as lightweight as possible, and it actually has an amazing movement. So there's a really interesting process for each. Like this bustier, for example, was inspired by a piece that we were making for Beyonce. The rosettes came from something that we were working on from couture.
And this room obviously drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. Where would you take me? I mean, this was the opening look in the lookbook.
Yeah. This was the opening look. So there's the most nominated playwright in Tony's history, Jeremy O'Harris, is a dear friend of mine and a good friend of the house. And we started working on this look for him. And it was so chic that we just moved it into the collection as well.
Right.
So I love this strong-shouldered jacket. The idea of a strong-shouldered jacket is something that feels so Scap. I think it's probably the closest thing that she had to a signature silhouette. But then doing, you know, a crystal bandeau top with the eyes, with all the chandelier embroidery, and then the chicest, most simple high-waisted tuxedo pant. And this is one too. We did the satin jumpsuit hanging from this harness made of bijou, gold, crystal strass, and there's nipples on all of the tips. It's a satin jumpsuit and bias cut. So I just think that there's like an ease to all of that, but then the bijou element makes it ours.
What about the female form that you love so much? Clearly you love the female form and women's bodies.
Yeah.
Like, where does this come from?
This obsession with the body, you know, comes from, probably it's a product of growing up and fetishizing the body without sexualizing it. I think that that's like, there's a really fine line that I find in her work too, that I like this good taste and bad taste, flirtation, the idea of vulgarity, but with charm. This has been a great look too. I think it just speaks to the sense of humor that you have to have if you want to even come through the doors of Schiaparelli. You know, a lot of these creatures are like characters. More than specific women or whatever, they're more like characters and people. And this was for me like a psychotically chic person on their yacht or like a day at the spa. And I like that people come feeling like, oh, this is a song I've heard before. This is a garment I've seen before, but I'm seeing it for the first time.
And you presented your collection yesterday, and yesterday we had an Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp outage.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
It's really, originally I was sort of gutted, but on a personal level, I felt extremely relieved that that whole part of our world was non-existent.
Right.
It felt like so refreshing.
I'm very, very happy that you took the time to welcome us here, especially because it's video, it's TV, and I find myself lost for words every time I come here, and I'm having a hard time writing about your work because I feel like my words are not beautiful enough to convey what you're doing. Yeah. But thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you. Thanks very much.